All right, let me set the scene for you here. Picture this. It's 110 degrees in this sun-baked industrial park right on the outskirts of Phoenix, Arizona. A guy named Marcus pulls up to a local estate sale in a beat-up Ford F-150. Now, he isn't there to hunt for rare antiques. He's not looking for, vintage sneakers or anything like that. He is there for the junk. He literally walks straight past all the polished mid-century furniture and heads directly to this broken, rusted push mower that's sitting completely ignored by the curb. Most people would look at that and just see a piece of trash, right? But Marcus, he sees the foundation of a six-figure empire. Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, let's dive into this because today we're going to unpack the gritty, incredibly lucrative world of the Great Depression fix and flip economy and exactly how it is building massive fortunes right now.
So $20, that is the absolute maximum Marcus will ever pay for one of these so-called dead lawnmowers. Sometimes he gets them for 10. Actually, scratch that. Sometimes he gets them for absolutely free from a homeowner who's just too exhausted to haul the thing away to the dump. He takes that $20 hunk of metal back to his shop, cracks it wide open, and just goes to work. He cleans out all that caked-on oil sludge, he rebuilds the carburetor, swaps out a $5 spark plug, and then pressure washes the deck until it literally looks brand new. With less than an hour of labor and barely any money spent on parts, that $20 piece of junk suddenly gets a 90-day warranty sticker slapped on it. And then, he sells it to a local landscaping crew for up to $295.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is where the modern business world honestly gets it completely backwards. If Marcus pitched this exact idea to a Silicon Valley startup accelerator, they would laugh him right out of the room. They'd tell him it's unscalable, they'd say he's just trading time for dollars without any sort of software network effect. But here is the reality staring right back at us. What's truly unscalable is the tech bro assumption that physical repair somehow can't be systematized. Marcus totally ignored all that venture capital hype. Instead, he built a highly resilient, completely recession-proof business that consistently pulls in six figures. And honestly, the best part? He didn't even invent this model. He simply dusted off a playbook that is almost a century old. This entire framework was literally born out of pure necessity during the Great Depression. When the global economy completely collapsed back in the 1930s, everyday people didn't just sit around waiting for corporate bailouts. No way. They scavenged, they repaired, and they resold. The harsh survival mechanics of that era meant that waste simply wasn't a concept. A broken item wasn't trash. It was a highly valuable resource. It was inventory, just sitting there waiting for some hands, basic tools, and a little bit of mechanical intuition to bring it back to life. So today, we're going to look really closely at the three foundational categories of that 1930s playbook: radios, furniture, and bicycles. All right, category 1, fixing radios. Let's look at vintage and retro electronics. So during the Depression, the radio was absolutely the heartbeat of the living room, right? And local repair shops became these vital neighborhood institutions. Fast forward to today, and the global refurbished electronics market is experiencing massive double-digit annual growth. Audiophiles and high-end interior designers are actively hunting for these restored analog pieces. There are 8 distinct, highly profitable systems in this category alone. Number 1, tube recalibration. Number 2, transistor cosmetic restoration, which is huge for nostalgia collectors. Number 3, Bluetooth conversion, literally turning vintage wooden cabinets into modern wireless speakers. Number 4, crystal rebuilds for educational STEM kits. Number 5, emergency modernization, which means outfitting old cases with solar and NOEA weather tech. Number 6, speaker recone for high-end audiophiles. Number 7, dial reproduction for faded glass. And finally, number 8, parts harvesting, which is systematically tearing down dead units just to sell verified vintage tubes and knobs globally. And what is truly astonishing about these 8 electronic systems is the underlying profit math here. They consistently command incredible 60 to 90% net margins today.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is just how simple the core process actually is, provided you respect the equipment, of course. Let's do a quick deep dive into System 1, tube radio recalibration. It's a straightforward 4-step safety-first restoration for audiophiles. First, you always unplug and discharge the capacitor safely. Vintage voltage is absolutely no joke. You've got to handle it with care. Second, you replace those old, dried-out paper capacitors with modern, super reliable equivalents. Third, you clean the tube sockets thoroughly with contact cleaner. And fourth, you realign the transformers to completely eliminate that annoying background hum. To put that into perspective, there's a technician in Portland who does exactly this. He sources beautiful old consoles at estate sales for like $40, runs through these 4 steps, and sells them as safe plug-and-play audio hubs for $450.
Moving right along, category 2, re-gluing furniture.
Wood was incredibly expensive in the 1930s, so families patched and re-glued absolutely whatever they had.
Today, the secondhand solid wood furniture market is absolutely exploding. People are actively rejecting that cheap disposable particle board stuff in favor of real sustainability and longevity. Because of that, vintage wooden pieces command a massive premium. Let's quickly run through the 8 structural furniture fixes that make up this category. System 9, chair regluing. 10, veneer patching. 11, drawer slides replacement. 12, upholstery webbing, which permanently fixes sagging couches. 13, table leg bracing. 14, hardware upgrades. 15, bookcase reinforcement. And 16, mirror rebacking with moisture-resistant MDF. Now, just to be super clear here, we aren't talking about slapping some cheap chalk paint on a dresser to make it look shabby chic. We are talking about using modern PVA adhesives, epoxy fillers, and updated hardware to instantly and permanently multiply the structural value of a piece. Let's actually break down System 9, chair regluing, because it is such a highly lucrative baseline skill. Most people think a wobbly dining chair is just broken forever and headed straight for the landfill, but it's not. The old animal hide glue simply dried out over the decades. The fix is remarkably straightforward. Step 1, disassemble those loose joints very carefully. Step 2, clean away all the old glue residue until you're down to bare wood. Step 3, apply a modern, high-strength wood adhesive. Step 4, clamp it with proper pressure and just let it cure overnight. That is it. That's the entire secret. A loose, incredibly unstable $10 dining chair from a local thrift store suddenly becomes a rock-solid $200 dining room centerpiece. So the crucial point is, sometimes your acquisition cost can frequently be this exact number, $0. I mean, take a look around your neighborhood on bulk trash pickup days. Exhausted homeowners routinely drag perfectly good, solid wood dressers, tables, and chairs right out to the curb. And why do they do it? Because they don't have the heavy-duty clamps, or they simply don't have the 12 minutes it actually takes to fix a broken drawer slide. So they just surrender a highly valuable asset right to the elements. Their lack of time and their lack of basic tools is quite literally your entirely free inventory.
And that brings us to our final historical category. Category 3, patching bicycles. Back during the Depression, bicycles were the ultimate workhorses for factory workers and delivery boys. And today, bicycles are booming all over again as essential urban commuter vehicles and eco-friendly transit options. But let's face it, brand new bikes are super expensive, and eventually they all break down. So here are the final 6 mechanical systems to address that reality, bringing our grand total to 22. System 17, inner tube patching. 18, drivetrain tuning. 19, brake cables replacement. 20, wheel truing. 21, frame reinforcement for those tiny hairline cracks, and System 22, commuter accessories integration, like adding heavy-duty racks and bright LED lights. These specific systems target safety and reliability, and those are the exact metrics that modern commuters and gig economy delivery workers will happily pay a premium for.
Let's look at System 17, inner tube patching. This is a brilliantly fast turnover business model. Imagine this scenario. Someone gets a flat tire. They don't know how to fix it, so they leave the bike just sitting in the corner of their garage for 2 whole years. Finally, they get completely tired of looking at it and throw it up on Craigslist for $30 just to clear up some space. You buy it. Step 1, inspect the tire to make sure there's no dry rot. Step 2, patch the leak, or just replace the $5 inner tube entirely. Step 3, inflate the tire to the correct PSI. Step 4, test ride it to ensure it's totally safe. With just an hour of basic, honestly pretty enjoyable labor, that $30 abandoned frame becomes a $300, perfectly reliable ride that's ready for the city streets.
Okay, let's just pause for a second. We have officially covered all 22 systems across radios, furniture, and bicycles. But to truly succeed with this playbook, you need a massive cognitive paradigm shift. Broken doesn't mean worthless, it means discounted. And this isn't just some cute motivational phrase, it is a hardcore economic reality. Think about it. The modern consumer market aggressively penalizes imperfection. It penalizes it because the vast majority of people out there just do not have the tools or the basic knowledge to fix things. Therefore, broken is simply a massive pricing error. It represents a steep discount, just waiting for someone with a little bit of initiative to claim it. The underlying economic theory behind all 22 of these systems is a concept called skill arbitrage. Basically, you are acquiring a heavily discounted item, you are applying a repeatable, practiced process to it, and then you are selling it at a premium that accurately reflects its restored function. The profit gap,
The tangible difference between the $20 Marcus pays for a dead mower and the nearly $300 he sells it for is simply the monetized value of your tactile intuition in your physical labor. Think about it. Artificial intelligence cannot clamp a loose chair. Software algorithms absolutely cannot true a bent bicycle wheel. Your physical skill is your ultimate moat. And this brilliantly illustrates the fact that buyers will happily pay a premium for that physical skill. Look at the data. Items listed online as professionally repaired or restored consistently sell 30 to 50% faster and for 20 to 40% higher prices than the exact same items listed merely as used as is. Now, why is that gap so incredibly large? Because everyday buyers are inherently risk-averse. When you properly reglue a chair or precisely tune a bike, you aren't just selling a piece of wood or a chunk of metal. You are selling predictability. You are selling the absolute guarantee that the chair won't collapse during a family dinner, and those brakes won't fail in heavy city traffic.
So how do we actually build this into a legitimate, scalable operation? We need to completely reframe that Silicon Valley myth of scaling we talked about earlier. You don't scale a physical business like a software app. You replicate it like a highly efficient franchise playbook. Step 1. Pick just one category. Don't try to fix radios and bicycles at the exact same time. Master one domain first. Step 2. Document your first few flips really carefully to refine your standard operating procedure. Step 3. Build reliable acquisition channels. Go out and find the specific estate sales, thrift stores, and municipal bulk pickups in your area to intercept that waste before it ever hits the landfill. Step 4, price your items based on their restored function, and be completely transparent with your buyers about the exact work you did. And finally, Step 5, replicate. Once your system works flawlessly, you can hire an assistant to do the basic teardowns and cleaning, while you focus purely on the high-value finish work. Which brings us to the ultimate question. What will your first broken discount be? Look, we live in a relentless throwaway culture. It's a culture that produces way too much and fixes far too little. But what that means for you is that incredible, undeniable value is being abandoned on curbs and stuffed into dark garages every single day. You don't need venture capital funding to build a six-figure income. You don't need permission from some fancy board of directors. You just need a wrench, a little bit of wood glue, and the bold willingness to see absolute opportunity where everyone else just sees trash. So are you going to walk past that wobbly chair today? Or are you going to cash in the receipt?